Alex, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a Final Cut Pro 101 video. So I'm just going to show you the basics of Final Cut Pro like I did for my iMovie 101 video. As I did with the iMovie 101 video, I also kind of pointed out the differences between iMovie and Final Cut Pro. So I will be doing the same thing with the Final Cut Pro video as I'm going through it, comparing it to iMovie, letting you guys know, the differences. Now, the biggest thing, but there's one major difference between the two, and that is cost. So Final Cut Pro costs $300. So it's completely worth it to me, completely worth it. But if you are a new YouTuber, do not pay $300 for editing, especially because you don't know if you're necessarily going to stick around. There's a lot of people that come on YouTube and then they stop putting up videos. They don't put videos up that much. And if you're not someone who's that creative, there's no point. Final Cut Pro is for someone who's been doing this for a long time, will be doing this for a long time, and, is a creative person and really likes to take extra time to edit their videos. So if you're someone who just wants a simple opening and closing, you're not going to insert that many things into your video, you're not going to make videos that often, or you're not sure if you're really going to stick with it, or you want to wait and see if you're going to stick with it, definitely wait on Final Cut Pro. You don't want to be just throwing out $300 to end up not using it that much or at all, or find that it's not necessary or that you're not even going to do YouTube anymore. So definitely take your time with that. So I started already doing it, but I'm going to go over kind of like right now with you the difference between iMovie and Final Cut Pro, and then I'll jump into the tutorial as well. But I really wanted to point this out to you guys because iMovie is great. iMovie on its, is a great place to start. And honestly, if you're not, like I said, if you're not that creative and you're not going to do anything super crazy with your videos as far as editing goes, you don't need Final Cut Pro. Don't bother, don't waste your money. iMovie does a lot and it's great, but there are some upsides to using Final Cut Pro. In Final Cut Pro, you have a lot more, it's a lot easier to adjust things. So some examples that I'm probably going to talk about in my tutorial is like iMovie has text. So whenever you insert the text, it is what it is. The only thing you can adjust is the font. So you have a text that's in the center. You can make it bigger, but if you want to move it from here to here, it's not going to happen. You can't do that. But in Final Cut Pro, you can have your text right here. You can make it bigger, or you can move it. So you're just going to kind of expand the text or lower it and move it. So you have a lot more capabilities like that in a Final Cut Pro, which is really, really nice for someone like me who likes to insert a lot of text, a lot of icons, a lot of videos, a lot of stuff in my videos. So just keep that in mind, but no matter what, even if you're super creative, start off with iMovie. Make sure you get comfortable with iMovie and then you can move into Final Cut Pro. So definitely consider that. Watch my iMovie 101 video, watch this Final Cut Pro 101 video, and then that will help give you an idea of, if you want to get it now, if you want to wait. I definitely highly recommend waiting until you've been on YouTube for a while, and then you know for sure that you want to continue to do it. Now, before we get started, I do want to say welcome to any new viewers. My name is Alex, and I do have two channels. I have this channel called Beauty Vlogger 101, and then I also have another channel called Beauty Addict Next Door. On my Beauty Vlogger 101 channel, I do videos like this where I do tutorials on how to edit an iMovie, Final Cut Pro, like an edit with me video, 5 random tips videos that I do monthly. So just any videos that will help you as a vlogger or aspiring beauty vlogger, decide on to create a channel, how to create it, and then also how to, improve it and get more followers. Now that we got the introduction out of the way, let's jump on into the Final Cut Pro tutorial. The first thing that we're going to do is open up Final Cut Pro. And then I'm going to show you guys each section of Final Cut Pro. So we're going to start on the left side here. So as you can see, there is this spot right here called YouTube. That is a library. So to create a library, what you would do is you would go to File, New, and then you would click Library right here. And that is how you will create a library like this. Now within this YouTube library, I have these 4 events right here. So that one automatically comes with it. And then I have Beauty Addict Next Door, Beauty Vlogger 101, and then the Beauty Addict Diaries. So to create an event, you would go to File, New, and then click on Event. Now if you go into one of these events, you will see that they have projects within them. So in Beauty Addict Next Door, I have 2 projects in here already. So you just go to File, New, and then click on Project to create a new project. You got to make sure that you highlight the event that you want the project to be under. So same thing with the libraries. You want to make sure that whenever you put a new event in a library, you are highlighting that library. So now I'm going to create another library just to show you. So this is going to be a test library. So I went to File, New, Library, and then Saved, and that created a new library. And as you can see, it automatically included that first folder just like underneath my YouTube library. And then it also automatically created an event for me. So I'm going to rename this event, and I'm going to call it Event 1. And as I was doing this, I was like, you know what, I probably should call the test a library just to make it easy for you guys to understand how this works. Not that it's rocket science, but this is the basics, so I'm just going to lay it out for you to make it easy. So I'm going to call this library. Okay, and then I'm also going to add in 2 more events just so it looks pretty much exactly like the folders I already have, like the events underneath that YouTube library, so you can see how it looks and what you would call each one. So I'm just adding that last event and calling it Event 3. So here is the comparison between the two. They're the exact same thing, they're just labeled differently and have different projects within them. The events that we just created don't have any projects at the moment, but we can always add more in there whenever we want by hitting a File, New, Project. Now if you go under my Beauty Vlogger 101 event, you can also see that there are more than just projects underneath an event. We also have a clip like this, which is pretty much anything that you drag in that's a video or a picture, it'll go underneath the projects and it'll be listed underneath the date that it was put in or that it was saved as. So whenever you drag it in or you import it right here with that down arrow, that is how you import media, and no matter how you enter it in or you bring it in to Final Cut Pro, it's going to be showing right underneath your projects. Now, if you go into the top left right here where it says All Clips, you can decide whether or not you want to show all of the clips that you have right here, or if you want to hide any that are rejected. So if you hit delete on any of the pictures or videos that are underneath the projects, it'll hide them. Problem with that is then you'll accidentally forget to delete them and move them to the trash, and then they'll just be sitting in there taking up space on your computer. So I always show all clips just to make sure I don't accidentally just delete them instead of moving them to the trash. So that's just a good call right there. I don't really use any of the other buttons ever, but definitely go with the all clips. And you can also search for clips as well. So I just typed in urban and that pulled up my Urban Decay video. Now right here it shows you what video that you are editing. So if you're ever confused, you can look there. And then right here you can adjust the size of your clip. To properly adjust it, I need to highlight the clip, and then it'll show you here the percentage on how small or big you want to get it. There's close above my chin, you know, but I always just have it on fit, which is 49%. And then right here you have a view button. I never go to that button ever. Right here is where you have 3 options to edit your clip. So you can transform like I'm doing right here with the transform button. You could also do a cut. So I'm going to move the clip over just so you can see it a little bit better. But whenever you do the cut button, what you're doing is just making it smaller. So I'm just going to pull it in here, and that cuts off part of the photo. So it makes it smaller. So it's no longer 1280 by 720 like the standard YouTube size. It looks weird. So if you ever want to make clips smaller, you can always do that, especially if it's going to be a clip that's on top of your video that you're trying to insert. That's a good time to use it. But for this, I don't want that. I want to have the full background in there. There's also this distort button, so if you pull down right here, you can just kind of stretch me out. But I never use this button. I never see a need to use this button, but it is there in case you guys ever need it. So the main ones you're going to use are transform and cut, or sorry, crop. You can click done, and then right here is the play button. So you just press play or you press pause. And then the 2 buttons on the side, those show you how, or those get you to the beginning or the end of a clip, or get you to the next picture that's on top of your clip. So when I hit the right, it took me to the first title that's on top of the video. If I move it past that and I do the click right, it takes me to the end of that clip where there is a cut. Then I'm going to click on these arrows right here, and that will expand the video, so it'll make it full screen. And then all you have to do is hit exit to get back into the regular screen. And then I'm just going to hit pause right here. Now this section always depends on where you highlight on the timeline. So depending on whether you highlight a picture, a title, the clip itself, whatever, that will transform that right side. It also will transform it based on if you click on the music, which is below your video clip. Now, like I said before, this button allows you to import pictures or videos. These other buttons I really don't use ever. I've never touched them. Then this button will help you select or trim or blade a clip. I usually just use the command keys, but you could also use these as well. Now, if we go over here, that shows you the percentage at which it's rendering, or if you export a video, it'll show you how much it has exported and when it's going to be finished. So once it hits 100%, it's finished. So this one's not done rendering whatever changes that I've made. Now that area right there, that shows you where you are in the video. So if you move this back and forth, you can see at what point the video is in. Now this changes the color. It kind of is like an enhance button. Never use that. This button allows you to make the clip faster, slower, bring it back to normal speed. There's other options down here too, like rewind, speed, ramp. I just stick with slow, fast, and normal. Then right here we have effects, so you can change the color of your video. And then there's a ton of other options here too. You can do age to film, you can do artifacts, this aurora, background squares. So there's so many options I'm going to show you here. Bad TV. It all depends on what type of video you're doing, what music you have in the video. It really makes it fun. You also have a sensor, a camcorder, which is really helpful if you're going to do a random clip in your video that you want to insert that's kind of like not part of the video, but you want to add it. A cartoon, and then there's some other good ones in here too. I tend to use these a lot during Halloween, or if there's a special type of song that I'm using that has a lot of, I never use this one, but I wanted to show you guys because it's so funny. But yeah, there are so many options under effects. It just really ups your video quality and makes it more fun to watch. The next item that I'm going to show you is this camera button. It's another way to, I guess, import pictures, but I have never used it. I just clicked on this to show you in the video what it is, but I never use it. You can also search for different effects too by just typing it in. Same thing with I don't know how you type it in with the pictures. Like I said, I never use this. Now we're going to go to music, and this is where you can pick out whatever type of music you want to insert, like iTunes or sound effects that come from Final Cut Pro, iMovie. There's a bunch of different options to choose from. I typically just go in here for iTunes, which any videos that I convert from YouTube or anything, that will show up here underneath the iTunes. I get a lot of my music from Sing King Karaoke. You're allowed to use their music as long as you give them credit in your description box. So I just get out of there, I drag it on the clip. You have to put it underneath the clip because all music and sound goes underneath the clip. You can't put it above. I don't think it'll even let you try. Then if you want to go through the library, what you can do is you can just click right here, you hit play, and then you can hear the music, so you can kind of pick out which music you want to listen to. So you just hit that song and hit play. You can hit pause, so you can check everything out. You can also search for a particular song. So I'm typing in Bella, and that brought up this Bella Thorne song. The next item that I want to show you guys is transitions. These are a lot of fun for whenever I do my introductions on my videos. You can kind of do a cross dissolve, 3D rectangle, arrows. There's some movement ones. You can do a drop-in, which I use a lot to go with my subscribe button that I insert. So there's a lot of different things that you can use. My only issue is if you're doing it in between clips when you have a sound, it can kind of cut off the sound sometimes. So you have to be really careful when using them. So that's why I use them in the beginning of the video when I'm not talking and I'm just kind of showing like little previews of what's going to be in the video. So just keep that in mind. But they're all so many fun effects. You have these curtains, so many things. Then we have text right here, which I use a whole heck of a lot. You absolutely need to use text. This text right here, it'll look just like that. You can't put it on top of the clip and have the text moving with still being able to see the clip itself. So I'll show you an example here just so you can understand what I mean. So I'm putting it on top of the video clip and I'm pressing play, and that's what you see. Now I'm going to bring over this one that has the black background. So I put it on top of the video clip, and then whenever you see the video playing, you see your video and then you see the text on top of it. You don't see that white background. So keep that in mind with some of the text options. you might not have the option to include that type of text with your video clip in the background. You might have to do the pre-made background that's there. But for the most part, most of them can just go right on top of your video clip. I tend to use the rotate one a lot. And you have other ones that are more fun, like the instant replay. This one right here I haven't really used in a long time, but you have so many different options. Basic title, just to do anything basic as well. Now, just to point out a difference between Final Cut Pro and iMovie, I'm dragging on this text on top of the clip, and as you see, it is where it is, but we can move it. Can't do this in iMovie, so I'm going to show you what is great about Final Cut Pro. So in order to move it, you have to transform it. So you're going to go to this button right here, and that will help you transform it. So you can expand it, which will make it bigger, and then you can move it around. With iMovie, you can only increase the font size. You can't move stuff around. So that is what's great about this. So you can have text anywhere. You don't have to cover your face or anything. I can just put it right on top of my lavender background and not have to worry about that. So that is what's great about Final Cut Pro. Now we're going to go to this next button right here, which is generators. I rarely use these at all. I just kind of started getting into it. But like this, it's just a piece of color that you can put on top. Now it'll cover up your video clip, so you kind of want to blade your video and then stick it in between something, at the end of something, and then you can add text on top of it. So I'm just going to show you an example here of me playing it. So I put random tip 4 on top of that. It's just another way that you can kind of get a blank background if you want that's not black. Because a lot of the titles, you're just going to have that black background. That will give you a different background to look at. And then you have other options right here with backgrounds. I'm not sure, but it's possible that these are going to be like clips that you can use with a green screen. So if you have a green screen, maybe you can insert them. I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that. It's probably something that I'm probably going to have to go over with you guys in a Final Cut Pro like expert video, something a little bit more advanced. Especially because I haven't even gotten that much into it, but I will keep you guys posted on that and do that down the road if I feel like it's necessary. Then we also have this themes button. I use this a little bit on Beauty Vlogger 101, but yeah, I rarely use it. It's another way to get a little bit more creative, especially if you're doing a channel that's more lifestyle. You want to do like a scrapbook or something. You have those types of options and some other areas, but I rarely ever use it. Sorry, I'm going to change my song here. Don't mind me. And like the other buttons, if you want to search for a particular theme, you can just type it in. So I typed in float, and that brought up float. Then the button right here, that will take away that right side area where you can kind of adjust things, and it'll just make your video clip bigger, which is nice. Then this button right here is for exporting. You have so many options, but the main option I use is that master file option. Some people can use YouTube, but I think master file is the best way to go because I always save my clips anyway. And then you check the title, then you click next, make sure the title's good there too, and then click save, and that will export the video, but I'm not going to do that because I don't need to export this at all. I've already exported this. And then it'll show you right there and right here how far it has processed. So once it hits 100%, it will be done, and then I'll pop up a notification saying share was successful. Then this little circle right here, that will help you zoom in and zoom out of your clips, or timeline as I like to call it. And that will help you get to the beginning of it, the end of it, make it bigger, smaller, so you can get closer. Right there, I was just showing you that it shows you the total time. And that clip right here on the left, I never look at that, ever. But yeah, right here shows you the whole entire length of your video. And then right here is how you can zoom in and out and get closer to the clip. You want to get closer to the clip whenever you're doing anything super detailed. You're trying to, blade a clip, and you want to get really close in to make sure you don't cut off your voice. So it's really an important button to take advantage of. I find this to be a little bit more difficult to work with than the one in iMovie. I think iMovie is easier to work with. So that's why I do a lot of my major editing in iMovie, and then I do all the fancy stuff in Final Cut Pro. So as you can see, I have this clip highlighted right here. You can go and adjust the effects, transform, crop, distort. You can work on the audio. I never do that. The only time I've really ever used this area over here, where it says your video, audio, and info, is whenever I'm trying to edit a text. I rarely do it to edit any other item other than the music, where I can just adjust the volume. But those are the only two times. But whenever you click on a video clip or a music file, it'll show you different items depending on what it applies to. But like I said, the main times I use it is for text and music. And here's an example of what text looks like. So you can adjust the basics like your font, your size of your font. That's what I mainly use here under basic. And then you can also make the text 3D. You can make it un-3D by clicking that button again. You can work on the face, which is just the main color. So right now it's white. You can change it to pink or whatever you want. And then you can also do an outline, a glow. Alright, so that's everything that you guys need to know about the basics of Final Cut Pro. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting, and also I hope that it helped you. So make sure to give me a like if you found it helpful and you enjoyed this video. If you haven't followed me, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below, and then I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Beauty channel, which had how whatever. I'm just gonna screw that.